Hey guys, so I got a pretty cool gun to do a video on today. This gun is pretty cool. It is a VFC 416. I'm not a fan of 416s really. They're pretty cool, but the biggest issue for me is the mag wells. They can be picky for mags, so we'll see what feeds in here. But this gun's pretty cool, so a customer sent me this. I think actually my brother referred me to this guy, which is interesting because normally the people that he refers me to, they don't have any money. They're younger kids, and they're like, how much would it cost to do this? I want 40 RPS, how much would it cost? And I give them a number, and they're like, oh, I only have $40 or something like that. This one came through, and it's pretty nice. He said he bought it off of eBay, and it had a lot more upgrades. The seller said it had a lot more upgrades than it really did. I forget what actually came in here. I don't remember if he sent me a list, but there wasn't as much as there was supposed to be in here. That's the point. So let's just start from the back. So we got a VFC crane stock, a 416 style. It's got the HK markings. You got an AMB sling mount on the back there, metal buffer tube. I had to use a basic pistol grip because the original pistol grip was really not very good. I had a lot of issues with the wires and the motor tabs. The motor tabs on these MOSFETs are really bad. The nuke FETs, they're trash. So I had to just basically take the motor tabs completely off and just solder them to the motor, which is a suitable way. That's a good way to get them to not fall off ever, because with it being soldered, they won't fall off. But it is a pain to take the gun apart because you have to unsolder those, and the wires kind of look all janky and stuff, but it is what it is there. 416 body, CQB, so it's the short version. Got all the markings on the body. The body is metal, of course, upper and lower, and the quality is really, really, really nice. If you've ever held a 416 by VFC, it is a really nice body. Normally functioning bolt lock, I believe. This is not. He didn't send some of the parts, so it's not, not a big deal though. Standard dust cover, standard mag catch, selector switch, standard. HK 416 style sights. Those come in the 417s too. The rail system on here is actually pretty cool. I like these rails. Normally I like key mods, the modular systems, but these are kind of classic to me. I really do like it. So it's all metal. It's kind of heavy, kind of a hefty gun, but pretty cool. And then, CQB, so it's got the threads on the end, short barrel. It's got a long inner barrel, so I'm not sure if he puts a suppressor on here. I believe he does, and it just covers the whole thing, which is fine. It's an AEG. There's really no purpose to do like a foam fill and have the barrel a little bit shorter. As far as internals on the gun, hop-up wise, it's got a Lonex hop-up. It's a... Honestly, I'm not sure what barrel this is. I thought it was a ZCI, but now that I look at it, it doesn't have the markings that a ZCI has, so I'm not sure what barrel this is, to be honest. It is steel. It might be like a PDI, Umbrella Armory, or one of those. And then on the gearbox, it's got obviously a VFC base gearbox. We're running a ASG 40K boost motor. It is a used one. But it works totally fine, and you'll see in this video that it does. A standard trigger. It's got a nuke FET with the drop-in nuke FET. So I told the guy, I was like, I will charge $40 for you for install on the nuke FET and everything, all the other parts. But if you get a complete nuke FET, then I'll lower that to $25. So I only charged $25 to install all the parts, which is very cheap for what I did. But it was a drop-in MOSFET. So I lower the price when somebody buys a drop-in MOSFET because generally it's easier work for me, because when it's a non-drop-in I have to do all the solder work. So this was a drop-in, so I lowered the price for him because I don't have to do as much work, so I do things fairly. So yes, it does have a drop-in nuke FET. Side note, I have been very disappointed with the nuke FETs recently. Yeah, there we go. So the board on the MOSFET, or the chip, whatever you want to call it, should be like right here, so that you can put it out of the way, and then you can put the buffer, spacer, and screw down in there. But unfortunately on this nuke FET, the drop-in, the MOSFET board is literally right here. So you cannot get that spacer or screw down in here. No matter how hard you try, drop one in at a time, doesn't work. So what I did is the innovator that I am, I just cut a freaking gash inside of the buffer tube, and then I put the spacer in there, and I carefully, with a magnetized screwdriver, put the screw into the spacer and then dropped it in there, because if I dropped the spacer in there first, it wouldn't land in a proper way so I could put the screw in. So I had to like hold it here, put the screw in, make sure the screw was in and wasn't sticking to the screwdriver, and then I dropped it in there. And that's how I did that. So yeah, that's that. As far as other parts in the gearbox, it's got SHS 1601 gear, short stroke by 3 teeth, sector chip on there, SHS pre-lightened piston. It's got the VFC piston head, which is aluminum. It's got what looks like a rocket or an SHS O-ring nozzle, which is aluminum, stock VFC tappet plate, a full cylinder, which I'm not sure what brand it is. I think he said it was ZCI or Lonex. It doesn't look like a Lonex, because Lonexes are normally black, but it might be some sort of other OEM ZCI or something. It's a full cylinder. And then he has a Super Shooter M120 spring. So yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as the bushings, I'm actually running the Crytac steel bushings on the sector and the spur. On the bevel, I'm running the bearings that were in the box with the gun. I don't know what brand they are. They don't look like GMP. VFC doesn't come with bearings. I don't know what they were, to be honest. But I put those in there on the bevel gear. The reason why I did that is because the stock, or not the stock, but the Crytac 8mm bushings are trash. They're garbage. It's the first time I've ever used them, and they literally got stuck. The bevel gear got stuck on the bushing. And when I took the gun apart, it was cycling really slow. I'm talking like maybe like 10 rounds a second, and then all of a sudden the gun would stop shooting, wouldn't cycle. So I took the gun apart, and out of curiosity, I hit the air latch spring, or the air latch, to let the gears rotate and everything, and it wouldn't move. I was springing it, and the gears wouldn't move. The piston wouldn't go forward. So I took it apart and literally had to pry the bushing off of the bevel gear. So it got stuck, some sort of angle. It was like grinding, and didn't like it. So I just put bearings on there. I'm not a fan of bearings at high rate of fire, but I think we're only getting about 30, so it should be fine. That's all the upgrades that's in here. So again, 16-1s with a 40K. We're getting about 30 rounds a second. I preferred him to do, what'd I tell him to do? 13-1s or 12-1s, but he had those, but he just sent the 16-1s. But I was like, I'll make it work. I'll sell you this 40K motor, and you'll get a good, decent rate of fire and very good trigger response. So that's that. As far as the battery, I'm using an 11.1 Valken. It's like a 20C. It's nothing really high. I think he said this is what he uses, so I wanted to compare. But I have shot it with a 2,000 milliamp 11.1, and it shot, I think it was 32 rounds a second. So if he wants to use a bigger battery, he will get 32. This one's probably about like 28, but still pretty decent for him. All right, so I got the battery in there. He might now have to finagle it a little bit. Just to see what type of length he wants on the stock. This is a little long for me, but I'm a pretty small person, so I'm sure he's bigger than I am. So as far as magazines, we're going to try a Vietnam mid-cap with .2s and a BAMF with .2s. We'll chrono it to see FPS with that, and then we'll just do feeding tests with some GMPs with 2s, or sorry, 2.5s, because he's going to run 2.5s. These magazines are about 4 years old, so they're quite old. We'll see if they feed, though. He uses these GMPs, so hopefully they'll feed, and then high cap with 2.5. All right, so let's go ahead and chrono it. I got .2s in here. 409, 409, 417, 419, 419, 410, 408, 416, so pretty freaking high. Hey, what do you know? 416, 416, I swear. As far as joules, it's 1.61 with the 2. Try rate of fire. 29.84, so this is a fully charged. It's only a 20C, and it's doing that. 405 with a 2. 415, so it is keeping its FPS 29.91 rounds a second. So very, very decent for, you know, a decent rate of fire of 30, shooting that hard. So we're doing pretty good on this, and it sounds pretty smooth. All right, so feeding seems to be good now. Granted, we are using 2s, and he's going to be playing with 2.5s, but we're just going to finish off both of these mags with 2s and just see the feeding, and then we'll switch to 2.5s. Definitely overhops. Okay, so there were a few skips there. That's not too bad, though. That was fully loaded, so is this one. Ooh. See, I'm telling you, with the 416s, they're picky. See, this mag isn't even going to go in there because this lip. So very, very good trigger response. We're talking, you know, definitely pre-cocking on this. Sounds a little weird because it is pre-cocking. So went through the full mag on semi. Let's try the second mag with 2.5s. Again, these are like 4 years old. These are my brothers. Alright guys, so I'm back with some more shooting. So what I ended up doing is actually talking to the guy, and I told him that the hop-up is really not the best thing. The Lonex hop-up, how you barely adjust it, over-hops by a lot, and then you turn it down and it just under-hops. So I told him a Pro-Win would probably be better. He said, oh, I have a brand new Pro-Win. So I have a Pro-Win laying around. So what I ended up doing is just throwing in the Pro-Win that I have, so he can send me his old one, and I'll just keep his old one. This one I'll keep in here. Now when I did that, it was clogging BBs, so I had to take the Prometheus purple bucking out of it and put a G&G flat hop bucking in here. It is R-hopped. I can definitely tell you that because I saw it. So it is R-hopped. It had a Prome flat hop bucking and an Eraser flat hop nub. So I transferred the Eraser flat hop nub, the barrel, the R-hop barrel, and then I used a G&G green bucking flat hop because it was clogging with the Prometheus purple. So I have to use the G&G green. The bucking's not going to really matter though, it's just seal with the BB. What really matters is the fact that now I can dial the hop-up in so the BBs are shooting, you know, over-hopping a little bit, not too much, but perfect. And if he wants to use 0.3s, he can adjust it, or use 0.2s and adjust it really easily, rather than with the standard type wheel. It is incredibly annoying. The FPS did drop a little bit by about 10 FPS, which is honestly perfect because it was shooting hot. You saw that I was getting like 415, you know, 409 was a lot of shots with 0.2s, which is a little hot. So what I ended up doing is just, again, swapping that hop-up, and the FPS went down a little bit. So I'll chrono again 0.25s in here. 355, 352, 356, 356, 354, 354, 358, 355, so very consistent on the FPS. 1.46 joules is what we're getting with a 0.25. The highest shot I got was 399. So, and then the lowest was 392. So it's within that margin of error there. So basically perfect. And that was with the hop-up adjusted for 2.5. So yeah, so much more consistent. It's over-hopping just a little bit. Alright, so let's step back here. This might be a little bit further range. The trigger response is fantastic. Yeah, that is absolutely perfect. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.